Okay, so I just watched the game where our Hurricanes beat Louisville 52-45. Of course, I'm excited about the fact that we're 7-0. I'm hyped about it. You can't be too down about being 7-0, but I'm extremely concerned. I can actually say there was a time when we were playing Virginia Tech and we were playing California where everybody was throwing up the panic flags, and I was like, "Hey y'all, relax. We're just fine." I'm typically an optimistic guy, but I'm also a realist as well. I can actually say we have a problem. All right. I'm going to talk about what the problem is. But first, my name is Jordan Harris. I'm your favorite host in the entire world, and this is Sports Truth. Please do like the video, subscribe to the channel. My number one job is to entertain you all. And if you are entertained, if you are educated, please do give me the reward of your subscription. I appreciate it. Okay. So, what is the main concern? What is our problem? Like, official problem? Our defense is shot. I don't know if this is a Coach G problem. I don't know if it's a player problem. I don't know what it is. But I remember watching like the Virginia Tech game, watching the Cal game, and we kept getting like the same schemes kept beating us. Like it'd be like 3rd and 18. And I'm like, oh yeah, they're gonna do a screen pass to the running back here. And somehow they would do a screen pass and run the ball and get like a 50-yard completion on it. I'm like, how does that happen? So that was frustrating. It happened in multiple games. I think that happened 3 games this season. Cal, Virginia Tech, and one other game before that. Maybe it was, I can't think of what the other game, but it happened 3 times where it was a third and more than 15 yards, and they threw a screen pass to the running back, and they ran it for like 50 yards down the field. So that was like, what the heck? But I'm thinking, all right, we'll just chalk that up to some weird stuff that's going on. Not a big deal. But in this game, the reason why I'm saying like I'm actually going to wave my panic flag and say we have a problem is because tackling has been poor for the last few games. This game, tackling was better, but I don't know why this is, but it seemed like multiple players are picking horrible angles on tackles. Like horrible angles. Harris, the safety that we have, my last name is Harris, so of course I want to rep the guy. I want to have this relationship with him, right? Like I want to big up my man Harris. But I think Pro Football Focus they put out like stats on every single player that played, and they give you like a score of 0 to 100 on how well you performed. I'm willing to bet that Harris has the lowest score out of every player who touched the field that game. Every player, offense, defense, Miami, Louisville. I think number 7 for Miami had the worst score of any player on the entire field that game. For some reason, he doesn't seem to understand. I hate to just get on here and just kill a player like this, but for some reason he doesn't understand leverage. He doesn't understand where his help is on defense. For instance, if the sideline is here, if I'm up against the sideline, all of my help is on this side of the field. So I know the sideline's over here, that's part of my help. And I know that my teammates are on this side of the ball or on this side, right? He will have a player running straight towards him, and instead of just breaking down and shielding him and forcing the player to go one way or the other, like I'm going to force him to the sideline where my help is, or I'm going to force him to where my linebacker's coming to help me, he never understands that. He always seems to pick the wrong direction to shield the guy to. Even more than that, a lot of times he just like runs straight at the defender. And then when the defender goes left or right, he ends up doing this slow turn and then he ends up following the defender down the field or following the receiver down the field. Just watch the highlights. Maybe what I'm saying doesn't make sense until you watch the highlights. You'll know exactly what I'm saying. If a receiver catches the ball, instead of him breaking down and approaching him with a wide base ready to make a tackle, he like sprints towards him. And then the receiver will make a run to the left or the right. And number 7, Harris, will just turn. And before you know it, he's just following the guy down the field. And it happens over and over and over. I felt like this week, when we actually got hands on the ball, it seemed like we actually brought the ball carrier down for the most part. But I kept seeing players just with bad angles all game. If you remember against Florida, Just go watch the big touchdown in the first half against Florida. Who was that who gave up that long touchdown? Harris. He's back playing safety position. The running back is on the other side of the line of scrimmage. Running back gets the ball. And instead of Harris just breaking down and sliding and seeing where the ball carrier is, he runs straight ahead at the ball carrier. And then when the ball carrier turns up the field, Harris then turns and follows him up the field. I don't know. This is the seventh game that they've played. And he started every game. I don't understand why he can't figure that out. And it's not just him, so I hate to piggyback or just kill him like this, but man, they got to figure this out. Know where your leverage is, know where your help is, and if you don't feel confident in making the tackle one-on-one, shield or just force the player to go towards your help. Like, I'm not a coach. I'm not a Division I football player, but even I know this, so it's crazy to me to see these players who are playing high-level Division I football to not grasp that. It's I don't know. It's crazy. So I'm going to get off my soapbox on that. Now I'm just going to go ahead and go over a couple of the plays, a few highlights that I noticed. But before that, let's talk about the stats. So Cam Ward, he was a little off today. Even though he was off, he was 21 of 32 for 319 yards and 4 touchdowns. So I'm sure a whole lot of folks would be like, if that's an off day, I would love to be that guy, right? He was off in the first half for sure. He missed probably 3 or 4 passes. I know a couple of them could have been touchdowns, but he just overthrew them, right? So Cam Ward was a little off today. Damien Martinez was the leading carrier with 12 carries and 89 yards for a touchdown. We had our sophomore sensation, number 4, put the ball on the turf today. That was a bad deal. It was an ugly play. Mark Fletcher ends up catching a pass from Cam Ward. I would say he was trying to do too much, but he really wasn't. He just made a move on a few defenders, cut it inside, and got the ball punched out, which was super unfortunate. Damien Martinez was 7.4 yards average, which is really good. And then Mark Fletcher was 5.6. A.J. Allen got a few carries, which I thought was cool. He was 6.2. And then as far as receiving goes, Sam Brown was 3 catches for 125 and a touchdown. Restrepo was 7 for 101 and a touchdown. All right, so there's the stats. Now let's talk a little bit more detail on a few plays. First quarter, we got a touchdown call back because Arroyo was doing what I call too much. So, if you remember my previous videos, I talked about how Arroyo, not just Arroyo, but the tight ends, they have a propensity to overdo things instead of just relying on the scheme or relying on what they were taught throughout the week. Like, we're going to run this play. When we run this play, you do it this way every time. They seem to veer a little bit outside of that because they're so hungry to make a play, and you just cannot do that. So they had a mesh route where one guy runs this way, one guy runs that way, and you want the defenders to either run into each other or you want to cause some kind of commotion in all of that to where somebody, or a defender bumps into this or bumps into that or maybe decides to go left instead of going right and leaves the receiver wide open. So that was a common play, right? It happens all over the place. But the issue is that Arroyo, instead of just stopping and turning and acting like he's going to catch the ball, he puts his hand out and clearly interferes with the guy. And I know a lot of Hurricanes were upset about that play call or about that flag, but man, you can't do that. You cannot do that. Just run the play as it's drawn up. Run the play like you ran it all week. Run there like you're supposed to just run, stop, and just make yourself as big as possible. And that defender who's chasing Restrepo across the middle, he has to decide, do I go in front of this defender or do I go behind him? Like, he's got a duck under if you put your hands up, all of that stuff. Instead of doing that, he puts his hand out and wraps his hand around his neck, which was crazy. So this is the second time that I've had some, I guess you can call it negative things to say about Arroyo, but he's got to get more discipline because he is going to end up killing us. Like, we were in the California game, we were coming back, and right there towards the end of the game, he went in motion, and before they snapped the ball, he run up the field to make a block, illegal motion. You cannot do that. I appreciate the fact that he's trying to make a play. I think that's cool, but just be disciplined, man. Do what you're supposed to do. Do your job, nothing else, right? Um, Next play I want to talk about actually is more talk about a player, and that player is Martinez. So Damien Martinez has come under a whole lot of folks' shotgun these last few weeks, mainly because he came in as a big time transfer. I don't know what the man makes. I don't know. I'm not counting his pockets, but I know a whole lot of folks say that he had received the bag this offseason. Apparently, he got paid real good money to come play for the Hurricanes, and his running style up to this point just wasn't working. He keeps getting the ball and doing the Le'Veon Bell, like dance behind the line and then hit the hole, and it just hasn't been working. So we've seen Damien Martinez start the game off with that running style and get, let's say, 12 yards on 6 carries. We've seen that happen. And then Mark Fletcher comes in, and his first carry, he gets 8 yards or 10 yards, first carry, because they have such a different style of running, right? So this game, I'm not going to apologize to Damian Martinez because I have had some not negative things to say about it, but I've just been saying, like, man, it's not working out like we thought it was going to work out. I'm not going to apologize for that because that's just the truth. It wasn't working the way we expected it to work. But after this game, we got to get the game ball to Damien Martinez, I think. Of course, Cam Ward played really well, 319 yards for 4 touchdowns. Most folks would say give him the game ball, but Damien Martinez had some huge plays in this game. Huge plays. He had one play, first drive in the third quarter, it was a 3rd and 5. He ran somebody. He broke like 4 tackles to get that first down. And like it was breaking 4 tackles in a 5-yard run. It's nuts. So to be able to do that, super impressive. Another thing about Martinez that I really do like, that I think a lot of folks are overlooking, is the fact that the dude has excellent hands. You can spread him out wide like you would see like a Christian McCaffrey do. You can spread him out wide on a 5 wide, which they did in the first quarter or first half. I don't remember if it was the first quarter or the second quarter. Sometime in the first half, they had him spread out wide, like all the way wide, running a route. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you have Mark Fletcher doing something like that because his hands aren't that good. So Damian Martinez is a weapon, but I say the game ball goes to him because dude makes some big plays. That first or that third down I talked about a little bit ago, but then he also had that touchdown run that was crazy. It almost looked like maybe Louisville was letting them score because they wanted to get the ball back and didn't want the clock to just run out. But he ran up the middle, stumbled a little bit. Linebacker came up to him. He ran through the linebacker after stumbling, which is crazy. And then he just like walked everybody else to the touchdown. Like, say what you will about him, that running style, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. But like I said in my previous videos, he falls forward every time. He seems like he is just a real dog out there. I would hate to try to tackle that dude. So he runs to contact. He runs through contact. He can catch the ball. And in this game, I think he just totally showed out. Like, this is the Damian Martinez that we all, me, you, coaches, everybody, his teammates, we all hoped and prayed this is the guy we were getting. And he showed out today. Mark Fletcher had a rough one. I thought that he started off playing well. Like I said earlier, he almost averaged 6 yards a carry, so that's good. But that fumble, that killed. That was horrible. That killed, right? Killed momentum. Speaking of momentum, the next play I want to talk about. So my brother's a big football fan. He loves the 49ers. He doesn't watch much college football, but he loves the 49ers. I am a Hurricanes fan, obviously, and I'm also a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. So we love football. We talk football all the time. One of the things he laughs at me about is how frustrated I get with kicking the ball off. I hate it. If I was and I know y'all going to be thinking this is probably stupid, probably crazy because it's a part of the game. But if I was a coach, our defense or our kickoff team would never even play the game. They wouldn't even play. I would tell my kickoff specialist, kick the ball out of the back of the end zone every single time. If you don't, we're going to have a problem. If you cannot kick it out the back of the end zone every time, then we're going to bring somebody else, a walk-on or something, who can just stand here, put the ball on the tee, and kick it out the back of the end zone every single time. Every time. We're not going to play this stupid 5, 10 yard um, field managing strategy stuff where like, oh, we don't want to give them the ball on the 25. We want to make sure that we stop them back at the 15. I'm not doing that dumb stuff. Y'all can have those 5 to 10 yards. You can have it. I'm kicking it out the back of the end zone, and we starting our drive. You're starting your drive every time at the 25-yard line. You're not going to get an explosive play for a touchdown. You're not getting. I'm not going to get an explosive play stop you at the 5-yard line, and I'm fine with that. The reason why I say I don't like playing kickoffs is because I feel like the odds of the kickoff team getting any sort of momentum are so minimal compared to the kickoff returning team getting momentum. We've seen it so many times. We saw, if you remember the way back, I think it was in '96 when the Packers won the Super Bowl. Who was it? I can't think of who it was. I think it was a Heisman winning. I think it was a Heisman winning receiver actually. Let me see. I don't know why I'm drawing a name. Oh, Desmond Howard. Desmond Howard playing kickoff return for the Packers in the Super Bowl. What happens? The Packers not playing so well. They get a kickoff. He takes it all the way back to the house. And I think he did it twice. That can kill the game for you. You think about the 49ers when they were playing against the Ravens. They kick the ball off. The 49ers score a touchdown. They kick the ball off with a little bit of momentum. And what happens? They take it all the way back to the other end zone for a touchdown. Same thing that happened in this game. It looks like we're going to finally get the momentum and run away with this game. We go up 7. Then we score another touchdown. We go up 14 points. The crowd's going to naturally start to hush after that. Naturally. It's going to start to hush after that. And then what happens? We kick the ball off, and they take it all the way back for a touchdown. So let's look at, like, y'all probably know I'm a business owner, entrepreneur. One of the things that I've always focused on is the risk and reward. Like, what's the risk on this and what's the reward? If the risk is like this and the reward is like this, I'm not doing it. But then again, if the risk is like this and the reward is potentially here, I'm doing that every time. So when I say that, I'm talking about our kickoffs. When you kick the ball off, the chances of you getting a reward, which is stopping them on the 5 or the 10 or the 15-yard line, are pretty slim. But kicking it off and risking somebody scoring a touchdown and changing the entire momentum of the game just to save yourself 10 yards is stupid to me. I think that is the dumbest move in all of football. Not just college football, not pro football, not Super Bowl, not championship. I'm talking about just any football. I think it's the dumbest play going. I think so. Once again, if the biggest reward you could possibly get, I mean, sure, you can recover a fumble. I get that. That's a possibility. But if your biggest reward for kicking the ball off is stopping them at the 15-yard line and saving yourself 10 yards, if that's your biggest reward, and then the biggest downside of that is having them score a touchdown, putting 7 points on the board, and then you losing all the momentum that you just got, I think it's just dumb. I don't know how else to say it. So I say, kick the ball out of the back of the end zone every single time. I'm guessing y'all can probably tell how passionate I am. I'm going to guess the next time the Hurricanes kick the ball off, if you're watching this video, you're going to be thinking, oh, Jordan's somewhere going crazy. If they kick the ball off and it doesn't go out the back of the end zone, I'm sure y'all going to be thinking about me because of how passionate I am about that. Okay. And that's exactly what happened, right? So we kick the ball off, they score a touchdown, all momentum goes out the window. We throw the ball to Fletcher, he fumbles, they get the ball, they score a touchdown. Before you know it, it's a tie game. That's what happened when we kicked the ball off. So let's say if we kick the ball out the back of the end zone. Now we're up 2 touchdowns, and then their offense, who I wouldn't say they were struggling, but you make them earn it. Like you make them say, you're down 14 points now. There's added pressure on you. If you don't score here, we're going to get the ball and we're going to at least score a field goal and go up 3 possessions. So you better score. That added pressure, that added That's going, you know what I'm saying? That's going to cause some people to bust sometimes. It's going to cause some pipes to bust. That pressure that adds to it. So I'm gonna get off of that now. I'm gonna go ahead and get off of that because maybe I'm going a little too hard on it. So I'm gonna get off of that right now. Okay, so the next play I want to talk about, it's not actually a play, and we're gonna go back in time a little bit. I gotta rewind. All right, so the next play, which isn't really a play, is the possession right before half. That one was tough, and I figured a lot of folks was gonna be giving my man Mario the blues about this because people love to kill Mario Cristobal about his play calling and his time management and all that stuff. So we got the ball. We're up 10 points? Yeah, we're up 10 points with the ball. And it was like maybe 2.5, 3 minutes left. We ran the ball first. And then the clock ticked down a little bit. Then I believe we threw it 2 times and then punted. So a quick 3-and-out. Then Louisville got the ball and they go down the field and they get a field goal out of it, which makes it a one possession game. So that possession, that was so tough because I could 100% understand where the Hurricanes were coming from in that. I know a lot of people would say, let's just go ahead and run the ball 3 times, run the clock out, we get the ball after half, so then we can be up 10 points, 2 possessions with the ball, potentially going up 17 points after getting the ball after the kick in the second half. So I understand that, but my thoughts were we do have who I think is the best quarterback in the entire nation. Our offense has been running all over people in the passing game. Xavier Restrepo, I haven't seen anybody able to hold him. Like, we haven't seen it. We haven't seen anybody be able to hold this offense that we have. So I'm like, we're up 10 points now. Let's go ahead and throw the ball. Well, first, I do like the idea of running the ball, getting the clock running, right? Run the ball first, get the clock running a little bit. And then, yeah, let's be aggressive and see if we can go get another touchdown real quick and go up 17 points. Because then if you do that, there's no time left on the clock if you score a touchdown. Not enough time for Louisville to go score. So you go into the half up 17 points, and then you get the ball after half, and then you can go up 24. So then the game is almost over after that at that point. So let me know what y'all thoughts were on that. Did you feel like we should have been aggressive there with 3 passes? Do you think we should have been less aggressive and just tried to run the clock out with 3 runs, even though they had, I think, 2 timeouts left? Or do you think that we did the right thing, which was run the ball, make the clock start running, and then make a couple of completions, hopefully, and then move down the field for a touchdown? Let me know what y'all's thoughts are on that because I'm pretty curious. I know a lot of folks is going to be trying to kill Mario Cristobal for that because they always do for whatever reason. Um, Another play I want to talk about. I got so many plays written on here. I don't even think it's realistic to go through all these plays, to be honest. I did think that A.J. Allen played a really solid game. He came in. He didn't quite seem like he seemed like he was brought in to be like a change of pace back, but he didn't seem fast enough to be that change of pace because there were a couple of times where he got caught from behind. One play, it was a screen pass to the left side. He caught it, faked to the left, and then ran inside. And when he ran inside, he had a pretty nice size hole to hit to move up the field. He got caught from behind from a defensive lineman. And I was like, oh my goodness. It's hard for me to imagine Jordan Lyle getting caught from behind like that. So I honestly would have preferred to see Jordan Lyle in there in that possession because he is quick and fast. So I'd have preferred to see that. But it is what it is. Next play I want to talk about was the Xavier Restrepo incomplete pass that he caught on his back. I know I'm going against the grain on this, but I kind of feel like that should have been a catch. I really do feel like that should have been a catch because he ended up. So he's laying on his back once again, which is crazy. He keeps getting these opportunities where he's laying on the back to catch these passes, but he's laying on his back, and when he does get the ball, he puts it away. And what I think is, if you're laying on the ground and you possess the ball, the play should be over right then and there. Because right after he possessed the ball, the guy knocked the ball out and caused a fumble. Or not a fumble, but an incomplete pass. My thought is, if you catch the ball and you're on the ground, as soon as you show possession of it, the play should be blown dead and it's over because you're already down. But in this instance, he's laying on the ground, and he laying on the ground with possession, and the guy comes and slaps the ball, and it comes out. So I just felt like that was the wrong play. It is what it is. Um, yeah, I think that's pretty much all the plays that I really wanted to go over today because I guess I'm just going off the top of my head right now. But it was cool to see the Hurricanes holding up the Boots Trophy. I thought that was pretty cool. Um, and it's also nice that the Canes are like we're undefeated after 7 games. You know what I'm saying? So I guess beggars can't be choosers, man. It's been a few real bad seasons, and we finally are doing well. Shout out to my man, second favorite Hurricane of all time, Michael Irvin, who showed up to the game again wearing his lucky shirt. Second favorite Hurricane of all time. If you wonder who my favorite Hurricane is, it's Ed Reed, favorite Hurricane of all time. But yeah, my number 2 favorite Hurricane of all time, Michael Irvin, makes an appearance. Per usual, I thought that was pretty cool. But let me know what y'all's thoughts are on the game. Are you as stressed out and concerned as I am? Um, yeah, we won the game, man, but I don't think it was. I don't think it should have been nearly as close as it was. We got to figure this tackling thing out. We really have to figure this angles thing out. Just please go watch the game. Just watch highlights. If you watch the highlights, you'll see on Louisville's big plays, the majority of the time, it's because a Hurricane player just did a dumb angle. Like they run straight at them. If you watch these players at like Alabama and Georgia and all these players, they understand where their help is. So instead of just running and bailing out and just diving at whoever has the ball or running straight at them and end up chasing them down the field, they break down and force the runner to where their help is. Like, I don't know why we cannot figure that out, but we got to figure it out soon. There's a lot of talk about the Hurricanes saying that we are ranked way too high. There's also a little bit of talk about people saying that maybe the Hurricanes are like a sneaky national championship contender. I've heard that too. After this game, it makes me say, man, sneaky national championship contender is a little far right now. Just because we've got to figure this tackling thing out. If we can figure the tackling thing out, I think this offense can score against anybody. I don't think this is going to be a situation that we've seen where these high-flying offenses get to like a national championship game and only score like 7 or 14 points like we've seen Oregon do a couple of times. Or like we saw the Chiefs do in the Super Bowl against the Tampa Bay Bucks, a few years ago against Tom Brady and the Bucks. It makes me so I don't think that we're going to do that. I think our offense is super serious, and the reason why is because those offenses that I talked about earlier, they had some kind of gimmick to them where they either did like a hurry up offense the whole game like Oregon did, or they've got some kind of weird gimmick where it's just like that's weird, and then once somebody finally figures it out, they can't do anything else. This offense has no gimmick to it. They have a quarterback who sees the field very well. They got weapons everywhere. They have a really good offensive line, and they've got 2 really good running backs. And if you watch this game, our concern about us not being able to run the ball, I think that goes out the window right now. I think it should go out the window because it looked like when we had to run the ball, whether it was 3rd and 3, 4th and 1, running the clock out in the last 5 minutes, whatever the case may be, it seemed like when we needed to run the ball, we did just that. Pretty handily even. So that's all that I got for you today. You could be anywhere. First, before I say that, please do like the video, subscribe to the channel. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I truly appreciate that. So take care. God bless. Peace.